this in a statement yesterday, Tuesday. Since March 16th, 2021, 25 lawsuits have been filed against Watson alleging sexual assault and other inappropriate behavior during massage sessions. Of those 25, one was dropped by the plaintiff when the judge ruled her petition had to be amended with her name. Protect her anonymity, she drops. The other 20 of the 24, Busby said, have been...
4 of the lawsuits filed against him, according to his attorney, Tony Busby. Tony Busby said this in a statement yesterday, Tuesday. Since March 16th, 2021, 25 lawsuits have been filed against Watson alleging sexual assault and other inappropriate behavior during massage sessions. Of those 25, one was dropped by the plaintiff when the judge ruled her petition had to be amended with her name. Protect her anonymity, she drops. The other 20 of the 24, Busby said, have been settled. That leaves 4 outstanding civil cases. No criminal charges have been brought. Busby noted that Ashley Solis, that's the first woman to file a lawsuit against Deshaun Watson, and the first to speak publicly and identify herself as a plaintiff, is not one of the 20 women to settle. We have Dan Graziano back with us. We said goodbye too soon and decided, you know what? We'd like Dan back to weigh in on more stuff related to football and other things. Dan, what is the settlement signal, do you think, for Deshaun Watson?
To me, it signals that that he understands this might be coming to a head and or a conclusion, right? So remember that once the league weighs in with whatever it proposes in terms of discipline, assuming it does, that this case now goes to an impartial arbitrator. That is in the new collective bargaining agreement, a jointly appointed discipline officer between the NFL and the NFLPA. She will have a hearing where the NFLPA will argue to try and get whatever, if it's a suspension, again, if, we don't know yet, if it's a suspension, they'll argue to get it reduced. And then we don't know how long that process is going to take. But the fact that he settled yesterday indicates to me and to the people I'm talking to that maybe Deshaun Watson understands that the league is going to come back with some sort of punishment, whether he tries to put it off or not, and he's trying to get to the point where there's a conclusion here.
Dan, take a listen to what Jake Trotter, our ESPN Browns reporter, say yesterday about what the Browns believe the suspension will be when he was with Bart and Hahn.
They would have predicted, if you talk to most of the people in the organization, or many of the people in the organization, in the 4 to 6 game range back in March. And a lot of the same people I talked to are expecting a much more significant suspension. Now, could that be 8? Could that be 10, 12, the season? I think all of that is on the table. I think if anything above the 10 games for Deshaun Watson, you're looking at the potential of the 2022 season being almost a lost one for the Browns.
So, Dan, are we looking at that, in your opinion, that 10-game range or above?
I think Jake would certainly tell you this and indicated as much in that report, that no one knows, right? But there has been this growing sense around the people I talk to that it will be longer rather than shorter when the league comes back with it. There is a lot of speculation out there. People saying it could be as long as the whole season. But again, what we don't know, because this is the first time that this personal conduct discipline process has gone through these channels with the independent arbitrator, we don't know what the arbitrator, who's retired U.S. District Judge Sue Robinson, we don't know what she will, if hypothetically, the league comes back with a 1-year suspension, we don't know what she will decide about how fair that is. She will be able to reduce it or eliminate it completely or uphold it. And again, because this is the first time we're going through this kind of process, it's very difficult to predict where it will land.
Dan Graziano, appreciate the insight. As always, thank you very much for hopping back on with us. There's Dan, there's Graz, ladies and gentlemen. So an arbitrator can say, well, okay, this is a suspension, but I'm going to raise it or lower it. Do you guys think it should be a year suspension for Deshaun Watson?
You know, I think, you know, I go back and forth on this. I think it should be at least 10 games, and I have no problem at all if it's the entire season. because it's just this is just too much, you know. And so I think the Cleveland Browns, when they made the decision to sign Deshaun, knowing that he could miss, this could be a lost season for them, they had to factor that into it. Hey, he may miss the whole entire season. 10 games for me or the whole season, I'm fine with either way. But it shouldn't be less than 10.
Yeah, I'm okay with the whole season. Do I believe it's going to be the whole season? No. I think it will probably be in that 10 to 12 range. I think he'll probably appeal it. Maybe he might win. We'll see the process that occurs after that. But this to me just feels overwhelming. I mean, it's like every other day we're trying to answer questions about this, and I know it's an ongoing target. Like, it's a fluid situation as more details come out. But if more details continue to come out, I don't see how it could be anything less than.
Well, that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons. Like, look, when you settle 20 cases, and they sign non-disclosures, now details can't come out. Now, on the one hand, people might look, well, so it was for the money.
But
no,
Max, there've been a lot of NDAs signed where details have leaked,
but they're much less likely to come out than if there are no NDAs, right? Like, yes. I would say the percent. Okay.
But, anonymous sources.
Yeah, it can still happen.
Things like that always happen.
So on the one hand, people would say, oh, see, they settled for the money. They were in it for the money. No. This might be life-changing money for people. That doesn't mean, these things didn't happen. Or other people may say, oh, see, Deshaun Watson settled, so therefore he did. No. He settled because it just may be better for him to settle in the cost-benefit analysis, even if he is innocent of at least some of the claims, right? So, but nevertheless, those 20, Jay, even if stuff leaks anonymously, it's anonymous. It's not the same thing as a woman with her name on it coming out saying, giving you the lurid details, right?
But you still do have 4 women that have not settled.
That's 4, but that means fewer details, and that is good for Deshaun.
But that doesn't
mean.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Why?
mean
details aren't lessened. Go ahead.
It doesn't mean fewer details, Max. And when you got a number of 24, at once upon a time it was 25. And now we have 4 open cases still because 20 settled. Let's assume 3 settled and we only have 1 open case left. And 23 has been taken care of, things are quiet down, whatever you want to call it. That one particular person speaks for all 23. Because in these type of situations, from what I can gather and see, is that this type of behavior is repeated. You don't just, you don't do something to one person and then do something different to 23 other ones.
Predatory behavior is predatory behavior.
It's the same repeat thing.
So I agree with that.
Over and over and over.
I think that's a really good point, and I do think in many respects the 1 will speak for the 25.
Absolutely.
Even if it comes down to 1, even if it's only Ashley Solis, right? I do think there is a difference between that and actually hearing from a dozen or more women.
See, not for me,
all the different things, because the way, like, it's human nature. You think, oh my God, they're all saying this, a very similar thing, but with like variations.
We already know they already was saying the same similar thing because it's a behavioral pattern, Max.
And there's something about, like, let me give it. I'll put it this way: in boxing, right? You might have a setup fight. And the favorite is going to knock out the underdog, right? You know it's going to happen, and you're like, I'm not going to be impressed because they're feeding this dude. But when it actually happens, man, it's hard not to be impressed because you saw it. And if he does it to 10 straight opponents, you're like, I know they're building him up, but damn, he really looks good. When you can tell yourself ahead of time, I already know something. But when you hear the details, it has an emotional effect. Another woman.
All I need to do is
hear 1. I agree with the key.
Because that 1 is going to explain, here's what he did, here's how he did it, here's how it's been set up. If you read the reports, the early reports or whatever, up to where we are now, there are details.
Enough has come out.
Enough has come out. Absolutely.
And Max, look, obviously he's been proven not guilty in the court of law. We still have open cases that we're going through.
They haven't brought charges.
Charges, right? Thank you for clarifying. But everybody has their own individual thing going on. So for some people, they might be willing to settle because it's life-changing money. But for others, they may not ever want to settle because the truth matters to them. I'm not saying it doesn't matter to the others.
But it matters even more than in that case.
Than the money.
Look, as